Welcome to the Season 2 premiere of Spoiler Alert, where we talk about and spoil the shows you're obsessed with. This week, Matt Mitovich and I are going to recap our summer highlights.
I knew it!
We're going to pick our favorite new shows of the fall. We're going to hit the red carpet at the Glee premiere.
The internet knows everything.
And we're going to drop some scoop. Matt, welcome.
How are you?
How was your summer?
Not too bad.
Any highlights?
I know where you're going with this. I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
I know what the gossip blogs have been saying.
Yes.
So I had a little something going on with the female star of NBC's Animal Practice. But I got to tell you, they've got the photo right here. It was the monkey. Crystal was kissing everybody at that party. Okay? So just be gone with your aspersions.
She didn't kiss me. She didn't kiss me.
All right, maybe there is something happening. But what was your summer about?
I don't discuss my personal life. So moving on to television. Pretty good summer on TV. Thanks
Pretty
to
good,
cable.
yeah. Definitely.
What would you say are some of the standout episodes?
Well, I think Political Animals surprised in the way that it was a real crowd pleaser.
You are now the acting president of the United States.
All right. Thanks.
People really got into it. It had a great cast. Unfortunately, it just got pounded in the ratings. I mean, it was up against Newsroom and Breaking Bad, and even Longmire over on A&E did really well. As far as lowlights, and I've said this, I was disappointed in the Closers series finale because, yes, Brenda got her big victory, but it wasn't because of her smarts. It was just a clumsy gunfight. But as far as highlights, Breaking Bad, I mean, it was just 8 episodes, and they went by in the blink of an eye, but that was a great start to the final season.
I'm on the fence about Breaking Bad. I thought it was an okay stretch of 8 episodes, some great moments, but also some moments I felt a little forced as they, sort of approached the finish line. But definitely some great episodes and a fantastic cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Hank finding out.
You got me.
Now he's gonna have to do his real gumshoe work and put the pieces together, and I imagine he'll just really keep quiet.
Behind the scenes, wait until he has a
real
case.
slam dunk case.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Also highlights for me, True Blood. Uneven season. I thought a lot of things didn't work this season, namely the Terry story with Scott Foley, where they went off in this sort of army storyline with a goat. I mean, to me, it felt like they were on a spin-off of True Blood that didn't quite work. But definitely by the end of the season, as Bill became more of an ass, I became more obsessed with the show. And the final image of Bill just turning into this, kick-ass monster.
That was a good twist.
It was a great twist, and it sets up a great season 6. Let's segue to fall television.
Yes.
What hour-long drama series were you most pleased with?
I'm kind of torn between Nashville, starring Connie Britton and Hayden Panettiere, and Last Resort with Andre Braugher and Scott Speedman. Both pilots are really solid. Last Resort's almost like a movie in its quality. If I had to give an edge to one, it would probably be Nashville, just because coming out of the Nashville pilot, I know what that series is going to be about. Last Resort ends in a way where it's kind of like they're teasing a show that you didn't really get in the previous 59 minutes.
Right, and I'm not a fan of that show that they're teasing.
Right.
I am not excited to watch that show. Maybe I'll change my mind when I see the subsequent episodes, but I felt the same way. By the end of the pilot, like, oh, this is the show? I don't know.
And if I were to throw in one more drama into the mix, it'd actually be Arrow on the CW. The pilot's really slickly produced. I think the lead's very strong, and I'm curious to see where that show goes.
My favorite by far is Nashville, and not just because of my Connie Britton bias, although she is fantastic in it. I think it's a perfect role. We get to hear her sing. We get to, it plays to all of her strengths.
You probably got to go on soon. I'm sure you're going to want to make sure you got those girls tucked in there real good.
And also the backdrop of Nashville, not something we see a lot on television. I feel like I'm discovering this new city.
Yeah, they've created this very specific world that we've never really lived in before.
All right, let's talk comedy.
Well, let's just start off by saying weak comedy pack this fall.
Yeah. But the best of the lot, I think, 2 shows. New Normal, I think, has a lot of potential. But Mindy Project is the show I think that I will probably become most obsessed with.
Do you know how difficult it is for a chubby 31-year-old woman to go on a legit date with a guy who majored in economics at Duke?
I enjoyed Mindy Kaling on The Office, but I always felt she's probably best in small doses. So I was like, leading a show. Yeah. But she won me over. The supporting cast is by and large pretty good. I'm praying they give Anna Camp something interesting to do on that show. And I spoke to Anna over the summer. And,
Love Anna Camp.
She's hoping that too, because right now she's just kind of like the well-to-do best friend.
Yeah, it's not a perfect pilot by any stretch, but all of the ingredients are there for a great series. And you got to give it time to grow.
The New Normal has definite potential.
Yes.
They have to find volume control with Ellen Barkin's character.
Right.
Leon stood there with his private parts dangling for all the parakeets to laugh at.
Another character is good in small doses.
Yeah.
Most disappointing show?
I'm gonna have to say Chicago Fire, because it's got a pretty good cast, interesting people, Jesse Spencer, Taylor Kinney, and yet The show's just so generic on every level. I mean, especially coming in an after Rescue Me era.
Rescue Me ruined firefighting dramas forever.
Right. It's not innovative in the stories it's telling. It's not innovative in the way it's telling them.
I was most disappointed by Beauty and the Beast. I had semi-high hopes for this one. I thought they assembled a good cast, but it just felt very ordinary to me. The Beast isn't really a beast, you know, he's like a hunk with a, you know, a scratch on his forehead, essentially. I didn't buy it. It didn't work for me.
And I'm almost wondering if the CW is going to maybe revisit that and maybe beast him up a little bit more, because they know that that's where a lot of the conflict came from the original. But the guy was trapped in that form. All right, I get it, the CW doesn't want their pretty guy trapped in that form, but they've got to throw him into it a little bit more often.
Let's pause here for a second. Meg Masters was on the red carpet at the Glee Season 4 premiere and came back with a lot of scoop related to the B word.
Breakup?
Ding, 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 ding. Let's check it out.
We've been hearing so much about this breakup episode that's being shot. What can you say about that?
Screw that episode. Like, let's get it over with. I'm so, like, no more. Like, that episode was, like, the most draining episode in the world. If you are a Klain fan or a Santini fan or a Finchel fan, like, get your tissues out. I'm not saying what happens with anything, because it could work out, but it's a whirlwind, that's for sure.
How does it compare to that season-ending train
that car scene was like, but Corey and I have another scene coming up too that was like, before we went to work that day, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, oh my God, I was listening to the sad music. I was like, no, please, I don't want to do it.
Gotta ask about the breakup episode, because we've been hearing crazy things. What can you say?
What have you heard? What have you heard?
That it's heartbreaking and heart-wrenching.
Well, breakups are heartbreaking. That's how they work.
Who's
if they're
breaking
not,
up? Klain?
Well, a bunch of people are, but that's no secret. The internet knows everything, so I don't feel bad about spilling the beans on that. Everything's turning upside down, so whatever that means to you. Might happen to Klain, might happen to some other people you know. Come on, what do you want me to say? It's out there in the internet.
Will and Emma, she is not around for the first few episodes, but how are they? What is Wemma?
They're good. It's not as easy as I think Will thought it was going to be, but you know, we're going to see them living together, it's going to be a little rough.
Is wedding planning still on the horizon?
Yes, we're wedding planning for sure.
She sort of comes into the club with a few new guys, and it looks like in the premiere they maybe hint toward Jake and Marley, or but then there's Sam and Marley have a little moment, and then maybe Artie and Marley have a little moment.
Artie and Marty.
Artie and Marty. Are they sort of veering her onto one path with a certain guy, or is it sort of a free-for-all at this point?
I mean, there's always drama in the romances on Glee, so
Who's your pick?
Definitely, who's my pick?
Yes, who should Marley be with?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like she kind of digs the bad boys.
Oh. Talk about romances, always love triangles.
Yes,
there was a little something with Marley in the premiere. Is that something we might see more of?
Yeah, I think, Ryan's kind of been hinting at a little bit of a romance with her. Jake's definitely kind of taking an interest to the two new ladies, so we'll see kind of what happens.
I think that Kitty's gonna cycle her way through every man at McKinley, in my opinion.
Slutty.
She's a little slutty. I mean, she's a popular girl,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Job well done, Meg.
The Glee premiere was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I thought they juggled the two worlds really well. I was a little skeptical, I'm not going to lie. But going back and forth, Lima, New York, I think it worked really well. Injected the show with a little energy that it needed.
Especially Kate Hudson.
Lesson number 1, your PK turns are pathetic and your stuck-up little attitude's really pissing me off.
How do you rate Kate Hudson versus Gwyneth Paltrow in the Gleeverse?
Kate greater than Gwyneth.
Yeah, they gave her like a real character.
A real character who just had some really funny lines.
It'll make it more fun for me when I'm making your every waking moment hell on earth.
And I like Dean, the guy who's playing Brody.
Yep.
I hope they go there. I hope they really play that and create a triangle, or just throw Rachel into a real thing with this guy.
I think they are going to do that. And then as far as other returning shows that we're looking forward to, I'm looking forward to Revenge.
Yes.
Great cliffhanger. What I'm hearing about the new season sounds exciting. And also, shockingly, Dexter, a show that I hated last season, almost to the point of giving up on it, has really come back strong. I've seen the premiere.
I've dreaded this moment my whole life.
Jesus, Dexter. Deb finds out, and then just the fallout kicks in immediately.
Yeah, the
really
premiere
excited
is pretty excellent, the way that it handles that.
And I actually have a little Dexter scoop. There's been some talk about a death in the first couple episodes. I can confirm that there are 2 pivotal somewhat pivotal deaths in the first 3 episodes.
As far as shows I'm looking forward to, definitely Once Upon a Time. They created a lot of questions the way that the finale ended, and the producers of the show told me all those questions that viewers have, those are the questions that the characters are now going to have. You know, why are we here in Storybrooke? What happens now? Can we leave the city?
And we know something that no one else knows that we've been sitting on. That's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
we can't say it.
There's a massive twist coming up in the storytelling.
It's a massive twist, and it's awesome. We know things.
And I was
that makes us cool.
And I was interested to hear that Snow and Charming, they're going to have a new wrinkle in their relationship coming from Sir Lancelot. I asked the boys, you know, which of these new characters coming on is going to be the most interesting, and then I was expecting anybody but Lancelot, but he's going to be a bit of a spoiler going on there. And of course, you know, Fringe is entering its final season, 13 episodes. I spoke with Joel Wyman about how it's going to end. He's committed to getting the viewers on the ground, as he says, with the characters. He's not going to dip into his bag of tricks of multiple universes and this, that, and the other thing. He wants to make this all about emotional payoff for the past 5 years. He said the show's almost exclusively going to be set in the year 2036. But the real trigger is, as we saw in the teasers that are out there, Peter and Olivia's daughter gets abducted by the observers, and that sets in motion everything beyond that.
Excellent. Matt, thank you very much.
Season 2.
Season 2.
We got the pickup. Although I heard I'm just recurring now.
You're bumped down to recurring. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about the big twist on Once Upon a Time that we weren't allowed to see on the camera.
Hey, I'm Noah Gould, and you're watching ENTV. Hey, I'm Rico Rodriguez from Modern Family, and you're watching ENTV.
My name's Chris Pratt, and you are watching ENTV.